Hey guys, Nick here, and welcome to the Omniverse of Nick, and part 10 to What If Frieza Turned Good. Now, before we get into today's episode, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick, and further acknowledge and support the future of the Omniverse by checking out the Patreon, Discord, and both Google Docs on the homepage, as well as commenting future requests and expectations for this year. With all that said, let's get started. Last we left off, Cooler, with the last effort besides Deborah to help Bobbity resurrect Majin Buu. But he had one more ace up his sleeve. Frieza gave in to his old rage, his old killing, and his old self while fighting his brother. And that gave Bobbity the perfect opening to seize control. Now we have Majin Golden Frieza, and he's literally stronger than everyone. Goku being the closest, barely, to possessing near enough power as Frieza. Because Frieza was already the strongest ever since he unlocked the golden form during the androids, with Goku being very close, but no cigar, especially after the Buu arc started, and the fact that Bobbity has now made him a minion. This Frieza, oh, he is just on another level. This Majin Golden Frieza now possesses about the same level of power that Golden Frieza did in his Resurrection F state. So yeah, this is Buu arc, by the way, so it makes it worse. Bobbity is just jumping up and down in his head with joy that now he has another minion, the strongest one in the entirety of planet Earth, and at his disposal, Buu's resurrection is nigh. And Cooler recovers himself and composes to see that his brother is now under the influence, and unlike him, who gave himself voluntarily and has kept control, Frieza gave in to the evil temptations and darkness of his once very evil mind. So, unlike him, Frieza has no control, and Bobbity has complete control. So, now, while Cooler recovers from being almost brutally killed, injured, and completely dismembered, all Cooler, Bobbity, and Deborah can do for the moment is watch to see what Frieza does. And Bobbity and Deborah say to Cooler, best to just watch for now, especially considering that Frieza is stronger than all of them and all of the Z fighters. They can just sit back and watch as Frieza resurrects Buu for them. Frieza laughs a maniacal, twisted, and just completely unrecognizable laughter and says, now, the time of his revenge is nigh. Goku is just angry and can't believe after all he did to make Frieza good, he let himself get controlled by Bobbity and tells Frieza to stop this. There is no more revenge, and he needs to understand who he is and remember what he has become after all this time. But Golden Frieza just smiles and says, oh, he understands very clearly. He understands that he should have killed Goku back on Namek and betrayed him like he was planning. Then he would be the one instead of all these people around, and he would be in control. Back then, he could have killed him, but he chose to just humor the Saiyan's offer of mercy in helping him. Matter of fact, he should have let himself get cut by his own attack instead of wishing to get saved by someone who he knows is beneath him. Now more than ever. Goku's just very serious at this point and says to Frieza he doesn't know what he's talking about. And he doesn't know what Frieza fully means by half of that, but he knows Frieza's lying. But Frieza just smirks and evilly, cruelly laughs again and says he's never been more clear about anything in his life, and that he should have not only killed him, but all of his little Earth friends, just like he blew up his little bald friend Krillin. And Goku's had enough at this point. We all know how he reacted when Frieza mentioned it like that before. That's bad memories brought to the surface again. Goku instantly, angrily turns into Super Saiyan 3 and holsters himself to fight Frieza, brutally and seriously, for the first time since Planet Namek. Babidi knows that if they fight like this, especially Frieza, the ship is gone, and Buu will be brought back prematurely. So he uses his magic and transports Frieza and Goku to a wasteland, where Goku wastes no time and gets the first attack, elbowing Golden Frieza right in the chest. But that's the last time that Goku lands a blow, because after that, Majin Golden Frieza holsters himself and is toying with Goku. Super Saiyan 3 Goku in this timeline might be near strong enough to combat Majin Golden Frieza, or at least Golden Frieza, but this is Majin true Golden Frieza. Literally the strongest being in the universe right now, aside of frickin' Barris and Whis. So, yeah, at this point, it's just no contest. That was the only blow he's able to land. And if there were others, Goku would have to rely on strategy more than attack, and even that is almost no contest. Supreme Kai just cannot believe what is happening, and that he's scared Buu's resurrection it's happening. Deborah and Cooler then proceed to attack all the rest of the Z fighters with their guards down. And fifth form Majin Cooler powers up to an even greater level. 100% Majin fifth form Cooler. So now, the Z fighters are in a little bit of trouble. But Gohan powers up to his maximum Super Saiyan 2 and proceeds to fight them both off. Deborah tries to spit on Gohan. Gohan pretty much being the strongest one here for the most part, besides like Bardock and Vegeta. But Bardock helps Gohan and powers into Super Saiyan 3, helping his essentially grandson, which would be an awesome tag team attack. And he powers 2 huge blaster attacks. And with that, Deborah is able to barely defend it with his blade. But Cooler receives the full impact and dies within just a few seconds. And let's be honest, he was almost completely dead by Golden Frieza. And him powering to 100%, even if he was maybe healed by Babidi, depending on how nice he is, Cooler, we can just assume he would be dead at this point. And Deborah is almost completely killed by the attack. He was barely able to defend. But Piccolo seizes the opportunity and special beam cannons Deborah, puts him out of his misery. But Babidi, he could not be more elated. Golden Frieza, now his pet, and the likes of Deborah and Cooler doing all this, and all of his minions beforehand, have finally gotten the power he needs to resurrect Majin Buu. And he looks into his crystal ball and sees everybody, and now he knows this is the perfect chance. And uses his magic and teleports to a wasteland. Not the same wasteland or mountain range that Goku and Frieza are in, but just outside the ship. And Shin just looks on and says to everyone else, Boo is about to be resurrected, and they have to stop Bobbity. Meanwhile, Goku tries over and over again to fight Frieza. But Golden Frieza, especially as a Majin, is completely given away by anger, fury, and revenge. All of what made him who he was back then. And is barely even tanking damage from anything Goku throws at him. That one blow was almost all that Goku was able to damage Frieza with. And soon enough, Goku, even at his best Super Saiyan 3 over usage of it, it is just not enough. And soon enough, he's beginning to get seriously crippled. And even he knows he should have expected this from Frieza. And maybe training so hard with him has truly come back to backfire, because he has no answer. And Frieza, he knows this, and says to Goku he should have never spared him that day. It might not have come back to bite him. He was too strong back then for his own good, that it made him overconfident. And it eventually led to this moment. One of the strongest once powerful Saiyans in the cosmos, felled by someone he spared. How pitiful does that feel? And he won the battle, but he lost the war. And all of those thoughts that he thought about killing him back then on that dying planet have finally come to fruition. And he gets even more angry and says that he's going to enjoy this far more than he should. And the wizard, he's just the startup. Lord Bobbity was just that final twist in fate that has now given him the perfect advantage to kill Goku. And with that said, he prepares a final golden death beam to kill Goku. But Goku has one more trick up his sleeve, and the ultimate trump card that he used on Namek before Super Saiyan consumed his soul. Super Saiyan 3 Kaioken. Now I know you guys are probably like, how in the bloody frick would he be able to do this? He wasn't even able to use Super Kaioken unless he was dead. Well, with how much he mastered Super Saiyan 3, how much he utilized it with Frieza, even if he can't fully utilize this, it's the ultimate trump card. And Frieza cannot believe it. That same red aura, that same Kaioken, he's able to use it in the Super Saiyan 3 state? And Super Saiyan 3 Kaioken Goku rushes at Frieza. And Golden Frieza rushes in response. But just then, he breaks out of his golden form. That can't be! He must have been using too much energy. He might not be truly injured against Goku, but that one punch and the few strategic attacks and moves and Kamehamehas and all that, and the Majin consumption of True Golden Frieza, he must have broken out of stamina and energy more than he thought. He's not crippled, but he must have ran out of stamina more than he thought. But Goku, he breaks out of his Kaioken Super Saiyan 3 too, because he's way more crippled and out of stamina than Frieza. And he holds out his hand to Frieza, knowing that they're both out of energy and through with this fight, and says that he forgives him, just as he did back then. He's not the enemy. Frieza has to know that. And Frieza, flashbacks begin to ensue. Super Saiyan Goku, him sparing Frieza, all of what they've done up until now, and Majin Frieza begins to fight with himself and begins to see what has become of him, what happened to him. It's like a 50-50 fight, and Goku really feels bad for him, but he knows that everybody else is in trouble, and he felt that Cooler and Deborah's keys went down, but a huge one is about to erupt. He knows it's Majin Buu. They cannot fight anymore. And Frieza even knows this behind the whole getting controlled by Bobbity thing, and they both head towards the area where everybody is. Shin and everybody else has tried to stop Bobbity, but with his magic, it's no use. The ball containing Majin Buu is brought into the fold and begins to erupt in a huge ball of smoke. Majin Buu is resurrected. Now, with Majin Buu, and Frieza still is a kind of slave, yet fighting with his urges to still kill Goku, is he even still a threat anymore? Or is Frieza back on our side? And how will Buu be dealt with in this timeline? Or is he even a threat at all? And is there anyone Bobbity can still use? Or is the Buu saga officially over before it really gets going, even though it kind of has? Find out in part 11.